Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle.
Hello, I'm Fiona Bruce and welcome to
the Chuck Tingle Book Club.
Oh, yeah. Yes, hello. How do true buckaroos? Welcome back to another edition of the Chuck Tingle Book Club, brought to you by the fine reprobates at the Pot Topic Podcast. As ever, we're going to deal with another Tingler today. Later on in the episode, I will be doing my analysis. But before we do that, my good co-host here, Tom.
Hello. And Danny DeVito, because I haven't got a green screen, so I dressed him up like a dentist or a ninja, whatever you decide. He actually looks
or a ninja dentist.
Ninja
This
dentist
is the
who's
Tingle
also a
first,
ghost.
afterwards.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. And today's book is on this side. I got it right. Open wide for the handsome Sabertooth dentist who is also a ghost. By, of course, two-time award nominee finalist for the Hugo Awards. Chuck Tingle. I had to think then. So, yes. Here we go.
Tell us all about it, Tom.
Absolutely will. Dr. Pete is giving me per Farmo. First of all, let's just say me per Farmo. Excellent
It's
name.
such a good name.
There's a lot of good names.
When I first read that, I thought, is this going to be something about the pharmaceutical industry? But
I did not make
no.
that connection. No, okay, fair enough. So, yeah, Dr. Pete is giving me per Farmo the good news and the bad news about his dental checkup. The good news, Meepa's teeth are perfect condition. They look great. Bad news, Pete has no idea why Meepa is constantly in pain. Like any other good stumped doctor, Pete just hands Meepa a prescription for painkillers for the fortnight just to get him through. That classic style.
Typical doctor. I've actually got a phrase for that later on.
Oh, really? Cool. On his way to the pharmacy, Meepa drives by a newly erected billboard with a handsome saber-toothed tiger and an oddly targeted ad on it. It reads, "Have a toothache that just won't go away? Looking for a prehistoric prescription? Come to Sabertooth Dentistry for several thousand years of experience. We catch things the other guys don't." So, over he pops.
And when something's that old, you just know it's got to be on the money.
Yeah, if there's two things that we can say about old things, is they always work, and I didn't have a second.
The second one is that the ancients always die. The wise ancients always die.
There we go. Yeah, so Meepa pops over to the office to find out the source of his discomfort. The practice is staffed by a shirtless buff secretary for some reason, who gets him to sign in before Meepa can even sit down. He's called out by a handsome and toned dental assistant called Kiko. Meepa explains the problem to Kiko, and Kiko asks him a few questions. You know, the usual: do you brush? Do you floss? How cute is your butt? That kind of thing. A bit confused as why this was relevant. Meepa is willing to try any approach to cure his teeth, so he admits that his butt's pretty cute. I think he says, "I think it's pretty hot." Then Kiko, I don't know about you, that I hate those questions. The dentist.
Yes, I do, especially like when it comes to like the smoking one. Do you smoke? How much do you smoke a week? And it's like, well, I mean, it's a movable feast, mate. Sometimes not at all, and sometimes, oh god.
Yeah. Do you smoke? How many cigarettes do you stick down your meatus? That kind of thing.
What are your pet names for your left and right testicles?
Pinky
Yeah,
and Perky.
that one always gets me. Like particularly when I go to the GP's office, they're like hard on about testicular nicknames.
Are they hard on? About
They are indeed, and also weirdly about the topography of my prostate.
Lumps, valleys, speed bumps, everything.
Would you describe it as a torus shape?
Potholes or just even level pavements? Right, so where would I get up to? So Meeper honestly admits that he thinks his butt's pretty hot. Then Kiko asks how often he's getting pounded in the butt.
It's a fair question.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And this is exactly what Kiko clarifies. In his own words, it's important information. Meeper reveals only once in college. Kiko just marks down not very regularly. Kiko takes Meeper through to the Dr. Tooth's office. Next to the dental recliner is a tool festooned with anal beads and butt plugs. Meeper is left waiting here, confused but excited as to what is about to happen to him and to his butt. Anyway,
He's also a little excited though, as far as I remember.
Yeah, confused and excited. Yeah, aroused as well.
It's the array of tools that really gets him going.
Or wait until he starts using the tools. Anyway, Dr. Tooth arrives. Meeper just lets him know about the pain, and Dr. Tooth examines Meeper's mouth. Dr. Tooth asks usual questions about brushing twice a day, flossing, but then asks Meeper, has he tried a dick in his mouth? Meeper, now with a massive stodge on, admits that, in fact, no, he hasn't. It's probably worth a shot, continues Dr. Tooth. And that's right, baby. We are about to enter the Denta Pleasure Zone, baby.
Take you to the pleasure zone, baby.
Dr. Tooth pulls out of his massive member, pressing it against Meeper's lips, open wide and say, ah. Glad acceptance of enormous rod in mouth, no improvement to pain. Pumpy blowy again, no improvement to pain. Steady erotic rhythm with hands on the back of the head, deep throat, no improvement to the pain. Let me ask you, do you have any pain in your butthole? Nope. I think it's entirely possible that the toothache in your mouth is caused by a lack of dicks in your butt. That's just science. Meeper on all fours, Dr. Tooth with massive black butt plug lubed up. Very, very cute butt, bun slapping toy lubing. Butt wiggle, let's do this. Deep breaths and butt plug plunged in. Pain to potent pleasure theme, but no improvement to the tooth pain. I think we're going to have to go harder. This is a very serious case. You need the real thing. Butthole penetration in how start off, but slow to start off, but speeding up with the slamming theme. Pound me with that. Oh, sorry. Let me give a little more emphasis to this. Pound me with that massive prehistoric dick. The tooth is finally improving. Jovial, excited rump slap, beating himself off while getting fucked in the butt. And I've got to quote this bit. The prehistoric beast is ramming my butthole with all of his force now, an anal jackhammer pounding away at my deepest, darkest depths in primal gay fuckfest. Meeper jizzes all over the chair. Tooth pain gone, Dr. Tooth announces, it's time to seal it up then. Lay under me and open wide and smile. I quote again, I give him a wide open mouth grin and suddenly the expression is met with a cascade of jizz, the dentist's pearly spunk spilling across me in several payloads of cum. The warm liquid covers my face and mouth, creating a thick milky sheen across my teeth. Dr. Tooth tells Meeper to let the sealant set for 15 minutes and leaves the room. Just the image of this guy going.
Anyway. I've just got to throw in very quickly. There's one point in that whole scene. It might be my favorite bit of the entire book. Is the bit where Dr. Pete has his dick and it's just holding his dick in Meeper's mouth, and it kind of is reminiscent of like a doctor taking your pulse and just kind of like just very detachedly taking your pulse, just kind of looking away, like counting or just looking for something that obviously you can't feel, but only it's it's a saber-toothed tiger with a dick in Meeper's mouth.
I mean, I don't know what to add to that. It's the fact that Dr. Tooth remains very professional throughout that I really like. But anyway, so the ending is 2 days later, Meeper, wanting to thank Dr. Tooth, drives to the practice, but on the way notices the billboard is gone. On arrival where the clinic was, Meeper finds a dilapidated and abandoned old building. Meeper questions a passing dental assistant that just happens to work for Dr. Pete, his old practice they used to visit, if he knows Dr. Tooth. The assistant says he doesn't, and so Meeper concludes that Dr. Tooth is a ghost.
No. The assistant tells him that Dr. Tooth died 10 years ago.
Oh, I must have missed like a line then, because that really confused me. It was just like, oh, it's not here. I'm not going mad. He's a ghost. All right, okay, fine.
Yeah. No.
He's a ghost.
Yes. Yeah, he's a ghost. He died 10 years ago.
That
Yeah.
makes more sense now. Okay, fine.
Right. Just before I get into it, Tom. So this is I think probably the longest one I've written so far.
Strap in, guys.
And it doesn't quote an awful lot from the text. But before we get started, I think I'm going to stop between sections just for a breather. Tom, any thoughts on where I might be going with this?
Yeah, so when you were letting me know that this is going to be a long old write-up, a long old analysis, I was just like, is he going to pull apart every single... I basically thought, are you going to refer to like classic literature in... I don't know. I seriously do not know where you're going with this one. I don't know how you've got 4,000 words out of it. I don't know where you're going. So this is going to be a ride for me as well.
Well, in that case then, Tom, please strap in as we get into Open Wide for the handsome Sabertooth dentist, who is also a ghost, an anal assist.
Anal assist.
I'm going to kick things off today by telling you something about myself. I was born and brought up into homeopathic medicine. And when I say I was born into it, I mean that quite literally. The homeopath who treated me throughout my life was also the midwife at my homeopathic home birth. Yet, while there was homeopathy in my life from the cradle, it's not something that I'm going to take that's going to take me through to the grave. And here's why. At some point in my early 20s, I started developing a rash. It was only a wee little thing, a smudge of ruddy discoloration that occasionally appeared around my left kidney for a bit and then toddled off. When I told my homeopath about this, their reaction was to give me a remedy for it, as is standard, and also suggest that I might be intolerant to mushrooms, and that maybe I should try cutting them from my diet. I dutifully did as I was told. In goes remedies, bye-bye mushrooms. And then, over time, the rash began to spread a bit, eventually beginning to reach around my side and spread onto my belly. Only now it was becoming more vivid in colour and occasionally itchy too. So I tell this to my homeopath, and they try more remedies and suggest it might have something to do with wheat. Maybe I should try eating spelt bread instead. Anyway, this goes on for a while. About a decade, in fact. In this time, I decided that I really wasn't interested in using homeopathy to treat my physical ailments anymore. I did, however, see a potential benefit to keeping up with my visits. Physical ailments only made up a part of our sessions there. There was always plenty of focus on my mental well-being too. This person had known me exactly as long as my parents, but remained in a position of professional detachment, so they were more or less perfectly placed to operate in a counselling role. I could tell them anything, offload whatever I needed to, and it would come with no judgment and no chance of it leaving the walls of the office. Some of their advice and encouragements turned out to be quite useful too. So I ended up using my homeopath more as a counsellor or a therapist, but a counsellor or a therapist at a fraction of the cost. Of course, in this time, that little rash had been developing and spreading. Remedies were still attempted and dietary changes adopted, but the damn thing kept growing. I even began to start doing my own research and treatments. The closest thing I could find for what this was a sweat rash, though it didn't quite look or behave in the same way. But I tried out some of the soaps, creams and shampoos you can get for sweat rash, and most of them had no effect whatsoever. Some of them made it worse. By the time I'm 30, this rash has become quite prominent on my back, sides, groin, belly, chest, and was even beginning to make its way onto my arms and throat. It had such an effect on me that I no longer enjoyed being naked, and as Tom will confirm, I do so love being naked.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
And this lack of confidence in my body had the knock-on effect of almost completely destroying my sex drive. enough is enough, I thought. The alternative medicines have failed me. Time to have a look-see at what the conventional types have to say about this rash. I signed up to a local surgery and took advantage of their walk-in clinic. I explained the problem to the GP, who listened patiently. Even as I explained my frustration with the failing of homeopathy, the doc made a point of saying, "Still, it must have been nice being brought up into all that. Those communities can be very, very supportive," which, honestly, surprised the hell out of me. So the doctor has a look at the rash, for about 20 seconds at most. Then they quickly turn to the computer and bring something up on the screen. They turn back to me and ask 2 more quite specific questions about the rash. Once I answered, they hit print and hand me a prescription and a printout detailing something called pityriasis versicolor, something in the same family as heat rash, but not so common as to have a colloquial name. So, 2 weeks. It took a 20-second inspection, 2 questions, and 2 weeks of that prescription for the rash to fuck off completely. 2 weeks to completely eradicate something that had been plaguing me for a decade and which had only gotten worse under the auspices of homeopathy. 2 weeks. It was at that point that I decided I no longer needed homeopathy in my life. Like I said, I only really went there in those days for a sort of mental health checkup, but I couldn't justify it anymore. Like most complementary medicines, homeopathy claims to nurture, support, and heal the whole person, mind, body, and spirits. Now, I've never been much of a spirit guy, but it had just been demonstrated that homeopathy couldn't be trusted with my body. So why then should I trust it with my mind? Anyway, Open Wide for the Handsome Sabertooth Dentist, who is also a ghost, is a story about a phantom smilodom that butt fucks a bad tooth away. And what's any of this got to do with proving love? Well, to find that out, we're just going to have to do the science. So, Tom, any thoughts so far?
I'm so happy you went down this avenue. Yeah, so what I'm imagining now, given that part 1, is that we're going to be flipping reversing it, where an alternative medicine is going to absolutely cure the entire body. Almost like what's it called? The foot pressure point thing.
Oh,
podiatry?
Reflexology.
Reflexology, yeah.
Yeah.
The Sabertooth tiger dentist decides that, or knows 100% science that the entire body is linked to the butthole.
I mean, that would probably take considerably more than 4,000 words to fucking stretch that one out. But hey, let's. I appreciate where your mind went with it. So let's have a look, shall we? In part 1. Why talk about hippie shit, Tazzy? I think the best place to start here is to actually break down the narrative beats of this Tingler and use that as a jumping off point to explore what's actually going on here. As ever, my co-host has provided us with a solid synopsis, so we can skip the details for now and get down to brass tacks. Open Wide for the Handsome Sabertooth Dentist, who is also a ghost, is pretty straightforward. 1. Our Chucktagonist, Meepa Farmo, has a serious toothache and his conventional dentist, Dr. Pete, can offer no reason as to why. Instead of tackling the root of the problem, Dr. Pete prescribes Meepa some medicine to deal with the pain symptom. 2. On his way to the pharmacy, Meepa spies an advert for a clinic that brags, "We catch things the other guys don't." 3. Meepa toddles along and receives an unconventional treatment from Dr. Tooth that completely sorts the problem. And 4. When Meepa tries to return to the clinic with a token of gratitude, he finds no clinic and discovers that Dr. Tooth has been dead for 10 years. So, in short, a patient has no luck with conventional medicine, but finds a solution through an alternative therapy. Now, it should be clear to all and any that a solid prescribed butt-fucking absolutely does not fall within the realms of conventional medicine, and thus can only be talked about as something under the umbrella of alternative medicine. And just to make sure, I did the fucking research on this. The only thing I could find is that prostate massage can help with swollen prostates, urinary flow problems, erectile tissue issues, and be used to help inform diagnoses for certain problems.
Doesn't it also
But
cure
there's two-
hiccups?
No, I think that's just
a
getting
joke.
a finger in there. Oh, I
Okay.
see where you're going. But so there's two things we need to bear in mind for this. Firstly, a prostate massage is not the same as prostate milking, nor, by extension, full-blown anal sex. Pleasure and climax simply do not come into the clinical prostate massage equation. Secondly, prostate massages tend not to be used as a primary treatment, but as a secondary therapy used to help the primary drugs therapy being used in the treatment/diagnosis of a problem. That said, let's have a look at what the text presents and suggests about the use of batty slamming as a means to cure toothache. There are a further 3 things worth looking at that support the idea that Chuck is exploring alternative or complementary medicine in this Tingler. There's the nature of the clinic, Dr. Tooth's medical philosophy, and the nature and successful treatment of Meeper's medical complaint. So, to start with the clinic, when Meeper walks in, he finds himself in quite a nice place. A muscular, shirtless man greets me as I stroll into the waiting room. And that's just nice. When you walk into a GP surgery, a hospital, or a dentist, you're unlikely to find much to make you feel comfortable. The temperature will likely be too hot or too cold. The chairs will probably be hard. The decor will be largely neutral tones, and allowing for a couple of pot plants or a fish tank, the most engaging thing there will be health and medicine posters, or maybe a TV with a newsfeed. This is very much not the case at complementary medicine clinics. Everything about such places are designed to be comfortable. The temperature will be cozy, the decor will be warm and comfortable, and maybe a little ethnic, maybe a little new age, something engaging. And to be fair, the chairs may still be uncomfortable, but at least there'll be some curious art and literature lying around to keep you engaged while you wait for your appointments. And you could apply this to the therapy rooms in these places too. And there's a good reason behind this. Generally speaking, the alternative medicine experience is designed to make you feel relaxed and comfortable at every stage. In this Tingler, it's simply represented by topless Studley types who focus on their interactions with Meeper. And this isn't something I'm just pulling out of my arse. cndoctor.ca, a chiropractic and naturopathic website, offers a think piece called Take a Holistic Approach to Your Clinic Design, which opens with Healthcare facilities can be stressful places for patients and visitors, with depressing waiting rooms, rows of uncomfortable seating, a blaring television. Designers of some medical spaces, however, are remedying the situation. A more holistic approach includes mood-elevating colors and artwork. Chairs are angled to look out the window. Screens offer calming nature scenes instead of news feeds. There's softer overhead lighting and skylights. Sometimes diffusers even waft a gentle breeze of lavender or citrus to mask the harsh scents of disinfectants and medicines. But this is only the incidental environmental stuff that we're dealing with here. The real support for the alternative medicine angle comes from Dr. Tooth's own philosophy. After he examines Meeper's mouth, Dr. Tooth poses a seemingly unrelated question, asking Meeper if he is experiencing any pain in his butthole. Precluding any questions Meeper might have about this apparent tangent, the Pleistocene tooth prober goes on to explain, "Our bodies are all connected, from your eyes to your hands to your spleen. It's all working together. Sometimes these connections can manifest in strange ways." This is, beat for beat, a near perfect explanation of the holistic principle as it pertains to physiology. To explain this as briefly as I can, holism is a philosophy that focuses on the whole. That's the whole with a W before you start getting excited. The basic idea is that all parts of a system are intimately interconnected. So if one part of a system is malfunctioning in some way, it will have a knock-on effect on another part of the system, which will in turn have a knock-on effect, and so on. Practically applied, this means that if you're looking at an emergent problem in a system, be it ecological, sociological, physiological system, or so on, then the actual root cause of the problem may lie with a malfunction or deficit with another seemingly unrelated part of the system. For example, in ecology, the reason a forest might be shrinking is because all the wolves in the area have been killed off.
Got ya.
Because without the wolves, the local deer population has exploded, and with that many deer around, all the tree seedlings get eaten, and so there aren't enough trees making it to maturity to replace the trees that die off naturally. That's just an example I made up, but you get the idea. The shrinking of a forest and the absence of wolves doesn't seem like they should be connected, but in this example at least, they are, subtly and intimately so. And it's this theory of systemic interconnectedness that runs right through the heart of alternative or holistic medicine. The central maxim of such therapies is treat the patient, not the symptoms. It's why a chiropractor might crack a patient's lower back to help relieve painful periods, or why a reflexologist might rub the tip of your big toes to relieve your migraines, or why a Sabertooth spirit might fuck your bum in order to cure a toothache. Which brings us neatly onto the final point. With everything we've just examined in mind, the fact that Dr. Tooth's patented rim-smashing therapy actually corrects Meeper's apparently unrelated and medically unexplained dental pain kind of absolutely suggests that Chuck is exploring the idea of proving love through alternative, complementary, and holistic medicine. But wait, Taz, you might be saying, in the introduction to this book report, you talked about homeopathy, a complementary holistic medicine, and how it completely failed you and let an easily treatable rash develop to the point of destroying your sex drive. Doesn't that kind of extinguish the possibility that such treatments prove love? Well, first off, if you're saying that, I tip my hat. Well, actually, I'm not wearing a hat. I tip my glasses to thee. This analysis is a proper login, and if you manage to not just follow its thread, but connect these two conflicting points, then well fucking done. But to answer the question, are my experiences and Chuck's exploration of complementary medicine incongruent when it comes to proving love? Tom, before we go on to part two, any thoughts?
I can't wait to see where you go with this. I want you to show me where love is in this book, because there was one thing that was very lacking in the amount of love. I can see the doctor, the dentist wanting to help the patient, and that being a form of caring and a form of love that way. But I think that's too surface level. I want to see where you go with this.
Well, you're not a million miles off.
Okay.
Part two. So I had to take some time to meditate on this question. Alternative medicines are alternative because they are not proven to actually work. And when they are proven to work, they become simply medicine. Because of this, the medical and scientific communities remain skeptical regarding their use in even a complementary role. For alternative medicine, and for alternative medicine to be used instead of any conventional medicine whatsoever, though, oh boy, do they get aggy. Not only do they get aggy, but they bring the boys along. The boys, in this case, being data from thousands of studies. In their 2008 book, Trick or Treatment, The Undeniable Facts About Alternative Medicine, Simon Singh and Edzard Ernst make reference to the some 4,000 studies into alternative medicine since the year 2000. They have this to say about it. The bottom line is that none of the treatments discussed in this book is backed by the sort of evidence that would be considered impressive by the standards of current medical research. And this is only discussing the claimed benefits of such treatments. The proven problems with alternative medicine include financial drain, patient manipulation, and the existence of potentially or actively harmful practices. Given this, it became quite difficult to see what Chuck is angling at with this Tingler. Just where is the love to be proven here? Well, I'm gonna do something here. I'm going to look at something adjacent to our points, and then I'm gonna make a bit of a leap. Is it very scientific of me? Not really. But we are talking about alternative medicine here, so I feel it's at least in keeping with the spirit of things.
It's definitely in tone. Yeah, let's go.
When you buy a Tingler, it tends to come packaged with a second bonus Tingler. I mention this because the two Tinglers are often thematically related in some way. A good example of this is Feeling the Burn in My Butt being packaged with President Donald Loch Ness Trump pounds America's butts. It's an obvious link. In this case, we bought Quietly Pounded in the Butt by ASMR, and it came with Open Wide for the Handsome Sabertooth Dentist, who is also a ghost. It's not an obvious pairing, at least not from the titles, but I couldn't help but wonder if there wasn't some more subtle connection. In both books, our Chucktagonist is experiencing an issue that contemporary medicine is failing to treat: insomnia and an unexplained toothache, respectively. In both books, the medical issue is resolved by something outside of contemporary medicine: ASMR and Sabertooth Ghost Dentist cheap clapping, respectively. The question then becomes, what's the link between the medical complaints of both books and the means through which they're resolved? Well, both complaints, you could argue, have some mental cause. The insomnia in our first case was a result of the Chucktagonist's stated anxiety. Meepa's unexplained toothache is a little more difficult. Dr. P has already looked at it twice and found no external issues such as cavities. Presumably, his diagnostic method would have included X-rays or some other means of examining potential internal causes. Still, he found nothing. We may suppose then that Meepa's dental pain might have some mental origin, be that some anxiety or trauma not discussed in the book. Now, if that sounds like a bit of a stretch, then I would encourage you to look into hysterical blindness and conversion disorder in general. The human mind is capable of psychosomatically manifesting issues far more serious than chronic toothache. As for how these problems are resolved, that's really where we have to make that leap I mentioned. In my book report for Quietly Pounded in the Butt by ASMR, I spent some time talking about the personal attention aspects of ASMR. It would seem that for about 75% of the ASMR community, the experience of dedicated and intimate focus from another person, even remotely or vicariously, plays a key role in producing the benefits they receive from ASMR. Similarly, in Open Wide for the Handsome Sabertooth Dentist, who is also a ghost, Meepa receives a lot of personal attention from Dr. Tooth's clinic, and it cures his toothache. Conventional Dr. P had a look and prescribed some painkillers, the medical equivalent of patting him on the head and giving him a cookie. Conversely, at Dr. Tooth's clinic, Meepa is attended to by two handsome and kindly assistants before Dr. Tooth goes on to spend a considerable focused effort in making Meepa feel very, very nice indeed. And the parallels do not end there. In the Davis Barrett ASMR study I cited in my last book report, they make some notes on the effect of ASMR on those with mood disorders and chronic pain. They conclude, given the reported benefits of ASMR in improving mood and pain symptoms, we suggest that ASMR warrants further investigation as a potential therapeutic measure similar to that of meditation and mindfulness. Similarly, the American Cancer Society's website has an article called The Truth About Alternative Medical Treatments, in which they provide a list of 6 alternative patient-focused therapies and their potential benefits. Those benefits include helping with pain, depression, anxiety, and emotional side effects. So, rather than focusing on what alternative medicines might claim, Chuck instead seems to be focusing on something that it does that contemporary medicine doesn't. Medical clinics tend to be quite, well, clinical. They have to be. Things have to be standardized, and they're usually swamped with people that need their services. A doctor may treat a symptom or a condition, but very little time is going to be spent with the actual patient. An alternative medicine clinic is the complete opposite. The practitioner's time and focus will be spent on the patient almost exclusively. And for certain patients with certain conditions, it's that focus and attention that will make all the difference for their recovery. So, before we close it out, Tom,
Yes.
what are you thinking?
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the love slowly boiling. I'm yet to see you bring in any ghost stuff, so that's what I'm really interested in. Is he gonna go ghosty?
Okay, yeah, I think you're gonna like the conclusion, Tom.
Okay.
Speaking of conclusion, in writing this book report, I'm reminded of a phone call I recently had with my brother. During the call,
And he's
we
been
were
dead 10
interrupted.
years. Sorry. Horrible thing to say.
During the call, we were interrupted by my niece, who was crying because she had just fallen over and bumped her knee. My brother put down the phone for a second, and within moments, the crying stopped. When he got back on the phone, he said, "Oh, it's amazing how much a kiss can just make it better." And he's right. When we're young, a kiss can make it all better. That's one of the first ways in which we learn that love is not just real, but powerful. And what was Dr. Tooth's treatment for Meepa's complaint, if not just a very advanced and adult kiss it better therapy? There's no
He starts with a
physiological
giant
reason.
black butt plug, dude. This
Very advanced and adult.
just not easing
Kiss it
into it
back.
whatsoever. Yeah.
There's no physiological reason why a deep dicking would diminish dental discomfort. Just like there's no physiological reason a kiss should soothe a lightly grazed knee. But physiology isn't everything. And I think that's what Chuck is getting at. Just having someone who not only acknowledges your pain, but then does something about it is a powerful thing. That kind of love not only proves itself, but it can cast a light on whatever it's applied to. It can show us that the problem is something that can be controlled, or show us that it's a much smaller problem than it pretends to be. It can even show us that there's no problem at all outside of what we believe to exist. All that said, I don't think Chuck is telling us this without including some caveats or warnings. The first of these is something I've already covered. If you're going to seek complementary therapy for a problem, maybe be sure it's something that therapy might actually help with. If the issue is less physiological and more about well-being, then hey, maybe an alternative route won't be a waste of time for you. For anything serious, keep things contemporary. Aromatherapy may well help you deal with stress or trauma. But if what you're dealing with is a serious gangrenous infection, then rubbing some patchouli on it just ain't gonna do shit.
No, you got to use sage as well.
Yeah, the holy sage. Yeah. Really got to give it a good sage
Good
smudging.
wafting.
You got to cure the meat before it rots. You see. Next, be aware of who's doing the treatment and what their motivations might be. Dr. Tooth is a Sabertooth cat, and he did in fact help Meepa with his problem. But as a Sabertooth cat, there was every possibility that he might have eaten his patient rather than fucking. And this is the problem with alternative medicines. They're largely unregulated, and as such, the lack of oversight can be a breeding ground for grifters who are only interested in money or power. Sure, so long as you can afford it, there's no real harm in going to a homeopath and being fed sugar pills if that helps you feel better. But if your homeopath starts convincing you to give up on your actual medical therapies because it interferes with the remedies or energy healing or whatever or what have you, well, that's a fucking problem. Even worse than that are those practices that peddle actively harmful products, such as MMS. It's
Bleach.
trots like that bleach, yeah. It's trots like that will have otherwise rational parents filling their child's colon full of bleach in order to cure autism.
True story.
Finally, yeah, that is absolutely. Finally, whatever benefit you might generate out of an alternative treatment, just take it for what it is and leave it at that. Do not become a true believer. When Meeper went back to thank Dr. Tooth, he found nothing there but an old, dilapidated ruin. It's the same with the ideas behind many alternative medicines. If you look at them with any skeptical rigor whatsoever, the most you'll likely find is an empty shell of concepts and terminology that barely stands up to even the lightest of pokes or prods. So, in summation, the love that powers care and attention can do wonders, and of course that proves love. Just beware of the devils who might seek to subvert that need for this love to suit their own desires. That's it. That's what I got.
Very good. Very good.
And mate, the reason it took 4,000 words is because when you're dealing with alternative therapies and medicines, there is no just talking straight about it. You have to go for walks.
Yes. Yes. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it properly. Completely fair enough.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh, hi. Hi. How you doing?
Sweet cheeks. You're right. Hey.
Oh, how did you know they're sweet?
I read it on this clipboard when you went to the dentist last time. Sweet cheeks.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I know you didn't recognise me. I was the topless, handsome receptionist.
Oh, that's a good disguise, bruh. Nice. You could come around here sometime and just bring the costume with you.
I also played the part of your mum.
What?
I'm surprised you didn't catch on with the voice, but okay, cool. I am Tingletron 4000 book review scoreboard. Oh, scores are final. Well, I'm off. I've done my bit.
Yeah. Cheers, Tingletron.
Okay, so yeah, this is where bit where we've had the science, we now apply the math. So we score all the things out of 5 that I'm about to list off and have an overall score, 4 score out of 10. So we're looking at the tingle, that's the cover art, getting to the tingle, that's the pacing, giving you the tingle, that's the sexiness, recommend some tingle, saving you some tingle, the recommendation value, and the tingle tilt, the final reviewer's tilt. If we like it or if we don't, we can puck around with it. So first of all, looking at the tingle, I mean, that right there is a pretty decent fucking cover.
It's pretty good, mate. It is pretty good. In fact, I only looked at the cover for the first time today, and I don't know. It's not usually my thing. It doesn't usually do it for me. It's the lollipop, man.
It's the lollipop.
It's the lollipop.
It is the
fucking lollipop.
At first, I thought he was brushing his teeth, but it definitely is a lollipop, isn't it?
I think so. Let me just put it up.
Let me bring up a bigger picture. Hang on, 2 secs.
Oh no, it could Okay, it could just be
no.
brushing teeth.
He is brushing his teeth. Yeah, I've just looked at a very large picture of it. He's definitely brushing his teeth. Oh well.
Okay, well that's just lost a whole point.
I mean, the only thing that I think would be nice to see is obviously they're not going to do this on the cover art because it's a bit obscene maybe, but having a tool tray laid out with sterilized butt plug equipment would be lovely.
Yeah,
but I suppose they're standing in front of it. Fine. Also, why is he topless in the? There at no point does Meeper take his top off.
Yeah, well, I mean, man, that's just marketing. Yeah, you got to have a topless bod on there.
True. I would feel
Just
cheated if there
wouldn't be
wasn't a
hot
topless
otherwise.
bod.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
I've
and the
gotta notice
Sabertooth and the dentist isn't wearing a fucking face mask or a hat to keep it. Like, I mean, even Danny DeVito knows to wear. Sorry, this is because I haven't got my green screen, so I thought I'd had to do something.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can't help but notice Dr. Tooth in this picture has glorious green eyes, which isn't something you usually see in big cats.
True. Yeah, he's quite a handsome little boy.
Lovely.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So you go first. What do you think?
3.797.
3.97. Sorry, 3.797 out of 5. I'm going to say, I'm similarly around there. It's got everything I need apart from the tray of butt plugs. So I'm going to go for around 4.123.
Okay. Getting it all in there.
Yeah, in average, that gives it a 3.96 out of 5. So getting to the tingle.
Okay.
I'm happy.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Getting to the tingle, it's the pacing. I think there was no bloat. There was no. There wasn't a paragraph that wasn't important. And the fact that I completely missed the most important bit where at the end of the book, it's revealed that Dr. Tooth has been dead for 10 years. The fact that I completely missed that, I think I need to give it a little bit of an extra bonus for that.
We're just obviously reading it so quickly, you just flew off the end.
Yeah. So I think a good 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, go on. I think that's absolutely fair enough, mate. It sticks very much to what it is. There might be an argument for like maybe there were too many assistants before getting to Dr. Tooth, but I actually think that kind of helps feed into the alternative practice angle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it doesn't halt you anywhere along the way. So yeah, I'm going to go with 4.515.
Complete different score to me there. Absolutely true.
I know, but this is why we do it this way, Tom, because we got to get the balance. We got to get to the truth.
I suppose, right? That's 4.535 out of 5. Giving you the tingle, the sexiness. Now, I'm gonna say the fact that Dr. Tooth is such a consummate professional all the way through, and apart from a bit of jovial bun slapping, he does remain very professional all through, and that's not hot.
It doesn't really do it for me either.
And the idea of having to sit there for 15 minutes with cum on your teeth, not the sexiest thought either.
No, I mean, I could imagine, I could imagine there might be some subby bottom types that might get a kick out of that, but
or that poor person at the end of a bukkake video has to pause for all the thumbnail shots. Just like,
yes,
get on with it.
yeah, dude.
Oh, it's been on my face for like 20 minutes now. Just
I've
give me a
been
towel.
for 20 minutes. I can only breathe from my nose. Just the world just smells like cum now. And one of these motherfuckers definitely ate asparagus yesterday. It's disgusting.
Oh, what a dick move. Okay. Right, so he's had nothing but anchovies and coffee for dinner. It's thick like Guinness.
So somebody has definitely been subsisting entirely off of Red Bulls and pepperami.
I'm gonna say we've proven the point. It's not a particularly sexy sex scene.
No, this is a low one for me. There were some bits that were just like, I mean, that's kind of hot-ish, but nothing. I think maybe it's just not for me, this one. So I'm going to give it 1.372.
Yep. I mean, that is very, very low. That's fair.
Yeah.
I was going to be a little bit more gracious and say around a 2.185.
Oh, okay.
Purely that 0.005 is 0.005 extra that I was originally going to give it is because the use of the dildos is there. Oh, sorry, the butt plug is there, but they didn't play. They didn't like. I was expecting them to start. Like when you go to the dentist, and first of all they start and they look around with the little mirror, and then they tap a few teeth, and then they scrape a few teeth. Like they up and up the stakes at each level. I thought he'd do that with the butt plugs, and I was kind of disappointed when he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the interest of brevity though, because these are only like 4,000 word things. Like it kind of did the thing with like, okay, we'll start
Did
with
the good joke.
Willie on lips. We'll hold Willie in mouth for a while. Anything yet? Well, okay. Time to
Yeah.
bring up the tools.
I suppose they did step it up in that way, didn't they? Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so that gives it a very low scoring for sexiness, I'm afraid, giving you the Tingle score of 1.7785 out of 5. Right, so saving you some Tingle. Recommendation value. I would definitely recommend this one. It's silly, just purely for the... If you want to introduce someone, it's got the silliness factor. If someone has already read Tingle, they're going to get the format. But...
I would. I think this is going to be a middle of the pack one for me.
Yeah.
Were the fact that Dr. Tooth being a ghost wasn't telegraphed in the title, I might. That might sort of give it a bit more, but like you're kind of expecting the ghost stuff, and it doesn't come until like the very, very end. And the only reason to do that would be for shock value. But because it's telegraphed in the title, it kind of loses that edge. So
yeah, it almost feels shoehorned rather than punchy.
yeah. But I mean, that said, you're right. It's still a good one. So this is going to be sort of high middles for me. 3.5,
Go on.
3.562, I think, for me.
And that's pretty good because I'd already written. I accidentally just deleted it though. 3 point. What did I put? 3 point. Hang on, let me run the numbers in my head. 3.089. So yeah, it's kind of middle of the pack. I would definitely recommend people read it. It's not one to be avoided, but that gives you the final score of 3.3255 out of 5. And here we go. Final Tingle tilt, the reviewer's tilt to affect the 4 score. So far, it's got a pretty low score.
I thought this one might.
I mean, at the moment, the most we're going to get is kind of like middle of the upper echelon if we give it the full 5 out of 5, but it's not worth the 5 out of 5.
No. It's not. Again, I think this is going to be. I don't think it's even worth a 4.
No.
I would tilt it slightly more than I would recommend it.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Like a 3.8 something?
Yeah, 3.783 from me. Yeah.
That's cool. I was going to go with the 3.8. 3,000 there. 3.873.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just mix up your digits. That'll do.
That's solid rigorous maths. That's good. I like it.
Rigorous maths. And so, drum roll. We have a final 4 score of 6.9708 out of 10.
Ooh, okay, cool. Where does that put it?
You ask me that every time, don't you? And it's like, I don't know, kind of middle. Let me just do them all by 4 score and see exactly where it comes. It looks pretty middle of the pack.
I can't believe you haven't set up a thing on your on your Excel sheet that just kind of automatically moves things into a score.
I mean, I have it so it's chronological. So the bottom one is always the most recent one, but then I've also I can easily do a quick sort by custom value. But
gotcha.
Where are we? So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Lost count. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th so far. It's the 12th best book. It comes straight underneath the physical manifestation of washing my hands gets me off. Feels about right, actually. And it's just ahead of Seduced by the Handsome Physically Manifested Sound that some people hear as Yanni and others hear as Laurel. Which...
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. Okay. I think, yeah. The science is bearing out here.
And it's 1, 2... So it's only 3 below the ASMR book that we reviewed last time. So...
That puts it in perspective. because I thought quietly pounded by quietly pounded in the butt by ASMR. I thought was considerably better, but right. Well,
Maths doesn't lie.
Mate, yeah. Who am I to even comment? Of course, the maths doesn't lie. Not when it's this rigorous, right?
Unlike homeopathy, right? Anyway,
so I've actually got it here ready to go, and
Yes.
it's time to draw out our very next Tingler. Oh God,
this is
there's
my
so
favorite bit
many
of the show. You know that. This is literally my favorite bit. It's like Christmas.
All right, we have here.
Excitement.
I saw the first word, and now I'm excited because finally this might be something all about me. Bisexually sandwiched by my sentient peanut butter husband and our new living jelly girlfriend.
Fantastic. Polygamy and sandwiches. Awesome.
Yes. Oh,
Bisexual polygamy and sandwiches.
Mate, I am here for it. I can't wait.
I wonder where he's going to take this one, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Okay.
you never know, Tom. You never know. Who knew that when we were looking into Monday Pans Me in the Butt, there was actually going to be a treatise on the benefits of embracing responsibility. You know, who knew when we did read into Vampire Night Bus Pounds My Butt, that it was actually going to be a tract on not just social inclusion but social embracing. Who
I mean,
can
that one's
tell
obvious.
with these things. Oh, sorry. Yeah, to be fair, it was.
I mean, must have been an easy fucking day in the office for you.
Walk in the park, that one.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to next week when you do a review of all supermarket brand Skippy peanut butters.
Yeah, God, that sounds fun, doesn't it?
Sounds like something cheap
cool.
show,
So,
though. Right.
Yeah, do you want to do the legal bit?
All the housework, of course. Well, you can find me and that dickhead on that dickhead, but also that dickhead over there, on Pot Topic Podcast, where we do a stupid bullshit topic driven podcast for about 2 hours each fortnight ish. If you go to the website there, sometimes we're always drunk, and majority of the time we're drunk. And you can go to the website, pottopicpodcast.com, where you can see the Tinkletron book reviews. It will be in there in chronological and fourscore level. For your, just in case you want a recommendation for, I don't know, Easter presents at this point, birthday presents for your friends.
You didn't just so much butcher the language, just like hack it to pieces with a blunt flint axe.
Mary Shelley,
Fourscore and logical.
Mary Shelley was, when she did the Frankenstein book, it was all about me just butchering the English language. Just kill it and then sew it all back together in a random order. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, come join our Discord, play games with us. Done.
Yeah, please do. Once again, we will be for next time, as ever, diving in and examining the immortal science of love through the ever wonderful lens of Chuck Tingle. If you want to join us, just go ahead and get Bisexually Sandwiched by my sentient peanut butter husband and our new living jelly girlfriend. But until that time, whatever your way, whatever your trots, whatever you do on this timeline, just go out there and prove love is real.
Love is real.
Goodbye!